Hi, everybody. This is Eva from SocaMom.com, and you are watching the Soca Mom Summit. I'm really, really glad that you are here, that you took the time to watch this, and that you're joining us, because this is a rough time for a lot of people, me included. All of us are kind of struggling to deal with this new normal, and many of us are locked down with the love of our lives. And sometimes it doesn't feel like it's the love of your life because you're not used to having to be together. You're used to wanting to be together. But, people go out to work, they go to the store, they do all kinds of stuff. And we don't have that right now. You are really in it with your mate. So I have an expert here from Black Wives Matter. That's one of the brands that she has. Please tell us about yourself so that we can jump right into getting some help.
Okay.
Because we need help.
Well, first of all, Eva, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. And everybody out there in Soca Summit world, I am Joanae King. My friends on the internet and everywhere call me Notorious of Black Wives Matter. That brand was to bring awareness to Black women that were married and wanted to hold on to their own individuality. When we get married, we kind of turn into a we thing and kind of forget about the me thing. So my brand was to solely focus on holding on to who we were before we were wives. So that's the brand, and that's who I am.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us. And I am in her Facebook group.
Yes.
The Black Wives Matter Facebook group. What is the actual name so if people need to find it?
So it's the Black Lives Matter tribe.
Tribe. Yes, I'm in the tribe, y'all. I'm
yes,
in the tribe.
She is in the tribe where we keep it 100% real in there. So.
Yes. And don't come in there cutting up because you get put out. So
quickly.
They don't play those games. They do not play those games. So tell us about keeping your individuality. It's a lot harder right now because I've seen some articles that say the responsibility is falling kind of unequally on the wife.
Absolutely. We gender roles, we try in 2020 to say there's not any gender roles or try to shy away from gender roles. But the fact of the matter is, like, even my husband told me today, he's like, I'm not the cooker. You can do it so much better than me. So and we're the peacemakers. Us women, we're the peacemakers. So to keep everything kind of copacetic, okay, I'll cook, I'll clean, I'll cook again, I'll clean again, just to keep everything even keeled, because everyone's on edge right now. We're all in a place where we don't know what the heck is going to happen tomorrow or in 5 minutes. We don't know what the updates are. So to keep things at a pace to where we can kind of feel normal, per se, we're kind of holding all of the domestic responsibilities, I feel like. Well, we probably all feel that way. So yeah, us women, we're kind of holding down the fort right now.
I do feel that. I can definitely say I feel the pressure to be, I guess, more of a wife. Like, I don't even know
so touchy, but yeah, it's like you don't want to put, you don't want to equate being a wife to being the cooker, the cleaner, but it's like we are the nurturers, and we want to keep things in a way where everyone's comfortable. Not that our men don't, but they're more of the protector and the providers. So they're making sure that, bills are getting paid, or, if he has to go out, it's more him to go out instead of me. But as far as our kingdom, us women, we're holding it down and making sure that it's as comfortable as we can.
So have you, in the wives that you talk to, because your tribe is made up of a lot of married people who were married at one time, what kind of stresses are you noticing in your general conversations? Not to divulge anybody's personal business, but what kinds of stresses do you see relationships going into right now?
The stress of money, Money is always a stress. Some of my wives are non-essential, so they are home now. Um, and they're not working from home. They're just like laid off, so money is a stress, on top of, taking care of the children, taking care of your own needs as married people, having sex and even wanting to do that or feeling like you're obligated to do that on top of all of the other things that are going on in your mind. You're worried about being intimate, or it's a whole lot of stress. But money is at the top. Money, and then it's sex, and then it's I'm tired. I'm tired. I don't get a break anymore. I used to get a break to, leave the house, go to Target and walk around and do nothing, but I can't do that anymore. So it's kind of overwhelming for a lot of us. So I'm glad that our community, the tribe, is there for each other, just kind of to check in and, show words or share words of encouragement to keep us going through this really tough time.
So, how would you say a woman or a man could explain, I'm just not feeling it right now. I'm stressed and I don't want to worry about performance on top of that. Like, I'm tired and my mind is not there. My mind is on bills. My mind is on a global pandemic. How do you start that conversation?
Well, you know me, Eva. I am straight, no chaser. I would say it exactly like that. For my couples that are not like me, communication is I always start with a question. Like, how are you feeling right now? You feeling the pressure of this, and see where your mate is and see how you can counter whatever they said. So, how are you feeling? Like, are you stressed? Are you cool? Like, well, the answer would be, well, I'm kind of stressed out, but we got to do what we got to do. And then you counter with, yeah, I'm not handling this too well. That's how you ease into it, instead of being like me, like, yo, hey, chill out. I'm not feeling this right now, but I'm married to somebody who understands that. And he's the same way. Like, we can talk to each other that way and not feel disrespected, because we're not being disrespectful. We're just both very blunt people. But I always say to people that are not like us, lead with a question, lead with your concern. And then in return, you can answer with the concerns that you have within yourself. So be concerned about your mate and then tell them your personal concerns. So that's how I would handle that.
So, I am a big proponent of the love languages. That to me is really, really important.
Yeah.
And some people de stress a certain way.
Yes.
And others would like to watch Netflix and go to sleep. So, people dealing with stress differently, people feeling love differently. What advice would you give for people who are just now finding that out? Like, we don't just see each other at the end of the day now and everybody feels the same way. Now I'm looking at you at 2:15 and you're stressed, I'm stressed, I want to watch TV, you don't. How do you kind of navigate that and have the conversation if people aren't blunt like you are?
Right. Yeah, again, I would say, okay, so let's just keep it a buck, right? If I want to watch Netflix because I'm stressed out, I just want to zone out, watch some mindless television, and he wants to get it in. He wants to have sex. My question, again, leading with a question, will be, you really want to have sex if the feeling is not mutual? That's how I would lead if I were in that situation. The feeling's not mutual, so are you really having fun here, or what's really happening? And let's talk about, if you're okay with just, de-stressing and not having my feelings in mind, that's a conversation we need to have as well. So I feel like a lot of couples are really getting to know each other in a different way, because like you said, it's no longer we're both at work, we leave all day and we're at home together from 6 p.m. until 6 a.m. when we leave. Most of the time it's sleeping, we eat dinner, we watch a little show, everything is kind of decompress mode. Now we're together all day and we're starting to learn exactly what makes each other tick and what doesn't. So this is the part where I'd say a lot of relationships are in being put to the test, because hey, you didn't know that, spending day in and day out with somebody when you're not on vacation, you don't know how to handle and how to recover or not to get your feelings hurt, because it's not personal. This is, like you said, a global pandemic. This is nothing. It should be taken truly personal at this time.
So one of the things that I caught about what you're saying is that we don't know when this
Yeah.
is, we don't know when this is going to finish. This is everywhere. And I feel like, when you get married, you have that honeymoon phase where you want to be around each other all the time.
Yeah.
And then that's gone. You get into real life and you're like, oh, wait a minute. I don't have to be around this person all the time. They're going to go to work. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to go to work. I'm going to go on vacation with my girls. So you kind of compartmentalize like the amount of time that you're going to need to be a civil human being, to look the way you need to look,
right,
to, and when I say need to look, I look a hot mess 90% of the time. But I'm just going to be honest here. But, to get ready for date night, like that kind of thing, you don't have to do that all the time.
Right.
Now, husbands are looking at wives are looking at husbands like, yo, do you look like that all the time?
Right.
Like, I usually leave before you wake up. Do you always have a little bit of
that little bit dry love right here?
Like, are you that ashy all the time?
Right. So, right here, do you not put lotion right here?
Spot. Do you not? You don't get in there, and you're not gonna wax you're not gonna. So,
right,
like, we're really seeing each other in the
real.
honeymoon.
It's getting real Neanderthalish around. Yeah.
So that honeymoon is over. Do you feel like there's a way to make this like the second honeymoon? So you remember when you wanted to be around that person all the time? What are some things that you can do now to kind of refresh your relationship and get that feeling back you had 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 2 years ago, for some people, 6 months for some people, because they got married. Some people were on their honeymoon when this thing hit. And so I am worried for them. What would you say to someone, A, who has been married 6 months, 2 months, and then B, what would you say to somebody married 20 years? This guy's been working the same job for 20 years and I ain't never spent this much time with him.
Right.
So start with newlywed and not so newlywed.
Okay, perfect. This is great. So newlywed, I think that just keep the fire burning. So me personally, even though we've been married approaching 7 years, approaching 7 years? Look, I don't even know. Yeah, 7 years. Okay, 7 years. So even though we've been married quite some time, I still make it my business to do date night, and it doesn't always have to be out. Like, I started something last year called Date on the Deck. I found some old Christmas lights, and I plugged them in and lit up the deck, and we put the 2 chairs out there, had dinner. I had a little playlist going. It was really, really nice. And then we do this whole picnic inside. We were supposed to, so this happened where we were supposed to go to the park and it rained that day. And I wanted a picnic. So I just spread out the same blanket and packed the picnic basket and took it up the stairs, and we had a picnic on our bedroom floor. You just have to be really creative. One of the ladies in the tribe, she said that they turned off all the lights and turned up some music real loud and acted like they were in the club. So it's really being creative. And I think that works for newlyweds and, the vets in the game. You're married 20 years and you can't remember the last time y'all danced together. Make that happen. Start reminding yourself of how it felt when it was new and fresh. And now you have nothing but time to make that your reality. So even getting ready for this, even though, we're all home kind of looking just chill, But I put on a little face or whatever, and he came in the bathroom, and he, I'm listening to my playlist, and he starts dancing, and we're dancing while I'm putting on my lip gloss. And those little moments, it lasted about 6 seconds, but those little moments mean a lot. So I think just kind of reminiscing on your own fairy tale. A lot of times in social media world, we get caught up in all of the well-known couples that are riding elephants in Thailand, and they're jumping out of planes and making everything look so extravagant. You can create your own fantasy, and this is the perfect time to do that.
So a lot of times in Caribbean families, there's a gender role issue. We talked earlier about trying to be the wife now that
Right.
you're being looked at 24/7. Kind of saying, hey, I can do, even if you were a career woman before, or if you're still doing your online work, hey, I can still, bake a cake in the middle of the day or whatever. What kind of things can we kind of mask from our upbringing or work through from our upbringing so that we can feel well and we can feel whole and we don't feel the pressure to be something that we may not necessarily be?
That is good, E. That is so good. So I feel like as West Indian women, especially if you're married to a West Indian man, I feel like we have the expectation, like, okay, this is like what you've been prepping for your whole life. That's how our men think. Like I said, especially if you're married to a West Indian. Note how I start talking, immediately the accent come out. I wasn't talking like that whole interview. But anyway.
So wait a minute. You've got to let people know, who are you married to as far as where he's from?
He is Jamaican. I am married to a Jamaican, and my family is Trinidadian. So we both were born in America, but both of our parents are born abroad. So both of his parents are from Jamaica. Both of my parents are from Trinidad. But we both have that, those upbringings instilled in us because we're first generation in the States. So it's a little different, His expectation is, regardless if he says it or not, he expects, like, especially in times like this, you're supposed to be rearing the children. You're supposed to be cooking the meals. You're supposed to make sure our house is in order. That's what you're supposed to do. And I'm supposed to, as him, I'm supposed to make sure you're protected. So we have, ample ammunition in this house provided for. So my husband is essential. So he still goes to work. He's on the front line, and that's how he feels. He feels like, I'm going to make sure that we're eating, and you're going to make sure that it's cooked. And right now we okay on that. But I will say, I do ask for help. I say, look, I cooked 3 times today. You could wash the wares. You could wash the dishes, please. But he does it, So I think that a lot of times we see our mothers not asking for help. And that is something, as a West Indian woman, especially a West Indian mother, we don't like to ask for help, but we expect help to be offered to us. And sometimes, a lot of times, they're not even thinking, they don't think about offering. And it's not like they're being an ass. They just really think we got it because we've set that foundation like, hey, I got it. So I think we're struggling with that because at this point, before we never used to ask and just, talk to our girls, get through it. But now it's like, we don't have an outlet anymore. So we have to lean on that whole we have to lean on them and not be afraid to lean on them. Because we kind of don't want to ruffle any feathers. You just kind of want everything to, again, back to the whole, I'm just trying to keep the peace, but not at your expense. Don't keep the peace and then you end up crazy. So I think asking is the one way to summarize. Asking for help is the way that we are going to be able to come out on top. Don't think that he's not willing to help because he's not offering. He's honestly going with what we've grown accustomed to, which is us doing it. And now we're like, hey, I wasn't cooking 3 times a day. I was only cooking dinner, and that was enough. Now I'm cooking breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack, and I'm tired.
And hold on, don't forget homeschool. And they make a lot more mess when they're home. Like
Home.
when they went out, you only had to clean up like an hour and a half, 2 hours worth of mess.
Exactly.
You got to clean up a whole day's worth.
A
Like,
whole day.
You've been
And
using
this
the
is
toilet
not
all
this
day.
is not only for little infant toddlers. The teenagers are worse to me.
I have
To
2 of them.
me. I have 3 of them. Yes.
Oh, so you're feeling this.
I'm feeling it. Yes. Only salvation is, for those who don't know me and the brand, I am a blended family. So my children, every Friday, they're either coming back from their dad or going to their dad. So that's how my house is so quiet, but they'll be home in the morning.
You're like, girl, yes, we can definitely do this. Ain't nobody here.
Right. Just him upstairs, you know. I did ask him. I said, you want to do this with me? He's so shy. So
Aww.
he didn't. But yeah, that's the
So-
answer to the question.
So as we wrap up, I know this is a really broad topic,
Mhm.
but I wanted to kind of focus in on solutions. What is one piece of advice if you see a mom struggling, you see a wife and a mom struggling, or just a wife struggling? What is the one piece of advice that you would give? You only have 60 seconds to change this woman's life. What piece of advice would you give to her?
I've got 60 seconds to change her life. And
To change her life.
the one piece of advice I would give is to be courageous enough to lean on the man that you decided to marry. Don't fear the outcome. Lean on him, because that is what it's for better and for worse. And these times are worse. This is a global pandemic. Everybody is on edge. It's not for you to carry by yourself. Lean on him. Let him know. Be vulnerable with your husband. Be vulnerable. Be soft. You know, make sure that you're able to say, I'm a woman. I still feel scared and I need you right now. Be vulnerable. We don't always have to be strong. So let him help you. That's my one piece of advice. Because he will. He will. You show that softer side, you show that side of vulnerability, which you should be able to show with your husband. I guarantee he will help you. That's my piece of advice.
And that is an excellent piece of advice. Excellent, because we
Thank
do
you.
put on that
you.
strong
Yes.
armor of we can do anything. We are super women. And then everybody finds out there were a lot of things that you did to care for yourself. You went out and had coffee with your girlfriends. You read a book in silence with no one there. And now we don't have those outlets. So I really appreciate you coming on and giving this good, solid advice. And
Absolutely.
tell everybody where we can get more of this and get some support as far as your Facebook group.
So my Facebook group is called the Black Lives Matter Tribe. If you just go to Facebook and search that, I will come up and you'll see the banner. Really easy to find. We're the only Black Lives Matter tribe. It's other people that have a group like that, but they're not important. So the Black Lives Matter tribe is where we talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly parts of being in a relationship and finding yourself after you've committed to someone else. So that's where you can find this. And we're a little more raw in there. So I will say that we're a little more raw. I also, speaking of love and lockdown, Joanae has a brand new lock care system, because I do have locks and we have to take care of them. So notoriouslocks.com for all of my soca moms that have lock tresses. I would love for you to try our products and rock some of our apparel and be a part of that nation too. Naetion.
I love that. I love that so much. So
Yeah,
thank you for joining me to do this.
absolutely.
This
Absolutely.
advice was so good and
I had
so
a really good
valuable.
time. Absolutely.
Everybody, please go to socamomsummit.com. Joanae has her own page that has her bio. It has links to get to everything that she's doing. You can get your hair care system. I don't have locks, and I'm going to say yet because,
I mean, everybody's crossing
lockdown.
over. That's how it really
You
feels.
might be like,
Everybody is
look,
crossing over.
I quit. It's a lot. It's a lot to do. So we really appreciate you. Everybody,
Absolutely.
please check out her products and support her and what she's doing. And if you can get in, let's just be honest, it's not for everybody. If you can get in to the Black Wives Matter tribe, congratulations. Because
it's 95 people at the door right now.
Listen, it's a pretty exclusive group. I'm just going to be honest. So if you can get in, I'll see you. If not,
thank you so much, Eva.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
We'll see you soon.
All right, babe.